All right, guys. Hey, coming at you again here at the Moratorium. I'm going to have a new mini-sode. I guess that's what we're just going to call it now, the Moratorium Mini. Why not? Why make it more difficult than it has to be? Just like the green screen wasn't necessary when I actually just had a picture of this behind me. That was pretty silly. I wanted the opportunity, though, just to have, maybe some graphics in the background or, a couple of dogs humping over my shoulder. My parents will be proud. So, here at the Moratorium, we like to watch movies that nobody is really talking about. Today, I want to talk about a movie that I just happened to catch on Shudder, and I can't say enough about Shudder. I enjoy it. They have some really cool things you don't find anywhere else. Open 24 Hours is what I watched. I may have watched a trailer for this at some point, but I was trying to lay down for a nap and decided to put on something for background noise, and then ended up watching the entire thing and then writing this video blog about it. Open 24 Hours was released, I believe it was 2018. It was written and directed by Padraig Reynolds. There's not a lot of information about him, but he's had a little career. He's got started here. He's been around for a few years and made a handful of films, writing and directing. Most of his movies that he's done, he's written and produced. We've got a short film called The Election. He did that back in 2007. Election, I just watched. It is on Vimeo. I'll put a link to it on the Moratorium website so you guys can check it out too. Election is just a short little film that just happened to have Lin Shaye and Ray Wise. I've talked about them before, actually, in the same movie, way back when. I think it was our Christmas marathon that we did. And we talked about the movie Dead End, which they played husband and wife. They play husband and wife in this little short film. I can't find any evidence that maybe they met Padraig on the set of this film. I have no idea how he was able to get both of them, which looks like they were straight off of the set, even though they weren't. See, The Election was 2007 and Dead End was 2003. So doesn't look like it's connected. I just thought it was kind of cool that they were both in that and in Dead End. Election, the little short film, is pretty cool. I enjoyed it. You can't get enough of Ray Wise and Lin Shaye. They seem like they belong together. Did a real good job. Go back and watch Dead End and listen to our Christmas episodes to get all of that. I won't go any further there. Padraig has written and directed a few films. One of which was his first feature film was called Rites of Spring. And it looks like on his Wikipedia, you can see that it looks like he's starting to work on a sequel for that now. Rites of Spring looks pretty cool. I watched the trailer for it. I would run out and watch this for being it looks a little rougher, but it looks like his first, feature length film. I just started looking through some of the actors in Rites of Spring because I always have to go on a tangent, and I apologize. Sorry, not sorry. Rites of Spring stars a guy by the name of A.J. Bowen. Okay, A.J. Bowen, he looked familiar in the trailer, and so I had to start looking him up, and yes, I do know him. He was in You're Next. He was in The House of the Devil. And he was in a movie called The Sacrament, which I watched part of. It was really kind of disturbing, like a cult leader thing. There's going to be a deep dive on some character actors coming from that too. That's some interesting stuff. The Sacrament was a Ty West film that was about like a Jim Jones kind of cult type situation that had Gene Jones as their leader. Gene Jones, you'll know him mostly from the famous coin flip scene in No Country for Old Men. He was the store clerk. Anyway, him playing this cult leader actually kind of fit, and it was quite scary. Just wanted to bring up AJ because AJ was in one of my favorite movies from back in 2007 called The Signal. And The Signal, I just watched the trailer for it again to rehash my memory. The trailer does not give it justice whatsoever. It looks like the trailer made it look more serious, and it really wasn't. It's a really cool story. It's done by three directors. I believe I read all that. That three directors, and they each created a segment, and it's kind of the same story told from the perspective of a different character, but they're all intertwined. Love this movie, The Signal. Go check it out. It's the only reason I wanted to bring up AJ. So back to the real reason we came here, because I wanted to talk about Open 24 Hours. Open 24 Hours is a horror movie. It's not a horror comedy. It's a very serious horror movie that takes kind of the slasher and mix it with a little bit of unsettling sanity. Open 24 Hours reads, after setting her serial killer boyfriend on fire, a paranoid, delusional woman gets a job at an all-night gas station. There's a lot going on in this film. I really did enjoy this. That's why I wanted everybody to go out and check it out. It's on Shudder right now if you have the Shudder network, or you might try to find it some other places. Anyway, Open 24 Hours, really cool film. Really enjoyed it. It has a handful of characters in it, and what we have is a girl on her first night work at a convenience store overnight. She has some background. I'm not going to clue you in on it. You're going to have to watch it. Has some really interesting background on her, that she set her serial killer boyfriend on fire. Anyway, really cool flick. Good jumps. Good gore. Only one pet peeve, and I see this in a lot of films, and it's not going to give anything away, but we've all seen this in different horror films where the killer puts a plastic bag over the head of the girl or the main character, and they're screaming and squirming and choking as they can't breathe. I don't understand why they don't bite the bag, because that's exactly what I do. Keep putting it on there, man. I'll keep eating bag all night long. All right? You're not going to kill me that way. Not so bad of a pet peeve of mine, but it does kind of get on my nerves, along with a few other things that I'm sure I'll clue you in on later. Anyway, Padraig Reynolds wrote and directed this Open 24 Hours. He has another movie, a few movies in the works right now, but Dark Light, I watched the trailer for that. He also wrote and directed it. It kind of looked like a mix of a horror and an alien type movie. But Open 24 Hours, really freaking cool. You need to check that out. Now, there's a couple of actors here that in this movie that I wanted to pay close attention to, because I think that you're going to see them more and more. All right, Open 24 Hours. The main character, the girl played Mary. Her name's Vanessa Grass. Vanessa Grass. Sure, whatever. I'm always going to get names wrong. I'm sorry, guys. It's just me. She was in Leatherface in 2017. Another movie called It Came from the Desert, and I clicked on that for some reason. I don't know why. Because it looks hilarious and stupid, that's why. Anyway, Vanessa has 11 credits to her name, so she might be coming back around. She did a good job in this. She was very believable in her psychosis episodes. I don't want to say anything more, but she was very believable and very good presence on camera. They did a really good job picking her. Brendan Fletcher plays one of the clerks that is at the convenience store to kind of show her the ropes, but then comes back later. He looks so familiar, and so I started looking him up, and yes, he's been in a shit ton of things. 126 credits under his belt. He has been all over the place. And I'm going to read off a couple of these because you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. He was in Freddy vs. Jason. and 2003. This is in the middle of his career because he has a ton of things before that I'm just going to go for the most recent so I'm not wasting your time. Anyway, he was Freddy vs. Jason. He played Mark. He was in Ginger Snaps 2 and 3. He was in the final cut with Robin Williams. That was a pretty cool, unnerving film. If you haven't seen it, you got to check that out definitely. It's a must-see. We see Brendan back again in Alone in the Dark. And I was like, holy shit. That's why I know him, because he's in every one of these shitty Yui Bowl films. Now, I'll take that back. Shitty it's just not my taste. We'll say that. Shouldn't say shitty. That's not cool. Also, Brendan showed up in the Masters of Horror episode that was The Damned Thing. That was a pretty good episode. I remember that. He's been around for quite a while. Blood Rain, Rampage was another Yui Bowl film that just looks like a guy who's at the end of his ropes that gets a lot of guns and kills people. Looked into that just briefly just to see that, oh yeah, there wasn't a script for that film, that it was actually like a 10-page freaking outline, and most of it was ad-lib. So you can just assume that he's just running around killing a bunch of people. But he is the main character in that film. He looks very believable. He kind of looks like, he reminds me of a mix maybe between Stephen Dorff and Christian Slater. Like if they got together and had, you know, a bastard child. Anyway, his demeanor is kind of coming off the same way. And I looked at him too. Hey, he's 5'5". So I thought, hey, could it be? Stephen Dorff is like 5'7", and Christian Slater's like 5'8". Not out of the realm of possibilities here, guys. Think about it. Anyway, he's in a movie coming up. It's just been announced, called Attack of the Killer Chickens. One that I will be putting on my list because it has David Naughton, Brendan Fletcher, and oh look, Lloyd Kaufman is in there. And Lloyd Kaufman is playing Lloyd Kaufman, Chicken Killer. Can't wait to see that. I will feast on that bucket. Anyway, open 24 hours. Go check it out. It's really kind of a cool flick. I will be checking out more of this guy's stuff. So I'll be looking for Padraig Reynolds. Check him out. He looks like he's an up-and-comer making some odd, obscure films with horror in mind. So, anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Go check out the Moratorium podcast at themoratorium.com. Anywhere you listen to your podcasts, we're going to be there. We're coming to you every week to give you a slice of what's in our minds. Now, maybe I can get Jason to do some of these videos at some point. We'll see. That's a challenge. Check us out on the social medias. You can find us everywhere. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Facebook group that's growing rather large. If you'd like to help us out on this podcast, go to our Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help us grow to better lighting, better setting, better cameras, better host. For only $3 a month, I'm going to start giving you stuff back. For $3 a month, you can get the director's cuts of our movie episodes of the Moratorium podcast straight to your ear holes. It's 20 to 30 minutes longer. Some good stuff in there I don't want to cut out, but I'm saving it just for you. Anyway, I'll be back with another video, depending on whether you guys like these or not. If it's a waste of my time, it's a waste of my time. Let me know if you have any movie suggestions or just want to tell us how much we really suck. You can go on over to moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Drop us a note. We'd love to hear from you. All right, guys, that'll be it for today. Get out there, watch some movies, and long live VHS.